All right, before I let you go, Ryan, a little bit in the NFL because the conversation involving Justin Fields and whatever might happen with Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo up in Santa Clara, California. It's the annual conversation of do you throw your top drafted quarterback in the deep end of the pool if you don't have to? Obviously, Jacksonville and the Jets have to. Obviously, back in your day, the Chargers kind of had to, right?
Right. Yep.
And so with you, but the concept of learning on the side to see and watch and mature and soak in, as opposed to just throwing them in like Justin Herbert got thrown in, albeit the circumstances were different. What's your stance on all of that, Ryan Leaf?
I feel like the players that are coming out of college are much better prepared to handle what the NFL is throwing at them, specifically because of the offenses that are being run and the ability for head coaches and offensive coordinators to shape their game plans around what quarterbacks do best. Back in my day, even as back as recently as Jared Goff in his rookie year with Jeff Fisher just wasn't willing to bend towards what Jared Goff was great at. And we saw the product on the football field. When Sean McVay came in, he really understood what made Jared Goff great, and they applied that and got themselves to a Super Bowl. And I think coaches do that now. If I'm a team out there, I'd want to follow in the footsteps of what Patrick Mahomes did. When you have a reliable veteran quarterback who can get you to where you need to get to and not have to worry about someone breaking somebody in, then you go about it that way. I think it's a perfect opportunity for San Francisco and Trey Lance to let him sit behind a capable quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl and Jimmy Garoppolo. The difference is, does Kyle Shanahan believe that this is the player that separates the San Francisco 49ers from winning that Super Bowl 2 years ago from what Jimmy Garoppolo can do and not overthrow the wide-open receiver for the touchdown that would win it? If he believes that, then Trey Lance is going to be in the game from day one. That's just how it's going to be. Now, if we're talking about Chicago and Justin Fields, I don't know how good this Chicago Bears team is, and I do think that Justin Fields is going to have his hiccups along the way, but he's the most dynamic player of the quarterbacks. I just feel like Andy Dalton's probably the answer there early on, but I wouldn't. But Matt Nagy's got to keep his job, and the only way for him to keep his job is to put the best possible player out there to make plays, regardless of what that looks like, and that has to be Justin Fields. So I'd start him from day one.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, Ryan Leaf. And the one thing I would say that college football quarterbacks don't appear to be prepared for in the NFL, because the college football world does not prepare them for it. While I do agree with you about the offenses and the schemes coming in, is the mechanism to call the play. Like in the pros, they're not holding up photographs of Scott Van Pelt and like a flag of Ireland and then a hammer, and then having four other guys do hand signals and semaphore. And that's the thing that drives me a little bit nuts about college football these days is everybody gets lined up and it looks like they're about to snap it, but then they all stand up and all of them look to the sideline, and then they all look back, and then now they know what play to be called. Is that because college football coaches don't think the kids have the ability, or they're just such control freaks that's the way they want to do it? Like, because if I'm a college football coach, first kid that I can say I'm sending to the NFL as a quarterback fully ready to call a 12-word play call because he knows who he's addressing it to, I'd get every single five-star recruit at that position, in my estimation.
I agree with you. I think that there's probably that where in terms of optimization, but I also think in terms of college coaches feel like this speeds things up and they want to run as many plays as possible. In the NFL, they want to run plenty of plays, but they want to run effective plays. Like college football practice now, it doesn't matter what the play does. It could be a complete bust of a play. They want to get it on film, and they're going to coach it up in the film room. They're not going to coach it up out on the field necessarily. They want to run as many plays as they can. So, yeah, that's a big difference for these guys when they make that jump. I'm also, and I've been this way ever since I had to deal with Mike Holmgren calling plays in Seattle. I asked him one time, why can't we just call this play like boomerang? instead of, X out, Y, Y seam, Z zebra, N banana. Why can't we just call this play, zebra or something like that? And so everybody knows it. And he looked at me like I was crazy, and I suppose I was, but I thought that would just be more convenient and easier for guys to do it. Same with John Gruden in Tampa. Yeah, it doesn't make too much sense.
Right. Let everybody else learn what the hell that means. You just say the word zebra, you know what it means, and everybody knows what it means, and let's go. As opposed, because that's apparently one of the things that Justin Fields has yet to be able to do. Albert Breer told us is to absorb the play call and address each member in the huddle, address each member in the huddle for whatever that part of the play call is assigned to. Like Andy Dalton
Rich,
can,
Listen to this, Rich. So, when I was with Coach Holmgren and we had those speakers in our ear, by the time he finished with the play call in my ear, I had a hard time remembering what the damn formation was that started the whole play. In particular, and I'd walk into the huddle. I don't know if you remember the NFL film stuff with Chris Sims when he'd step into the huddle and John Gruden was calling the play. Exactly the same thing. John Gruden would pull off a 15-word play, and by the time Chris was ready to call it, he couldn't remember what the formation was, and it would get yelled at on NFL films by everybody. It was a running joke with everybody, Brad Johnson and that crew. Yeah, it was. It makes for some comedy, but you're exactly right. That is something, and being under center, that's another big thing. These kids are never under center, and you're going to have to be in the NFL because it has to be physical, and you got to get a yard sometime, not just sit back there in the gun and hand it off 5 yards deep.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.